Hello, my name's Brad Teal, and together with Prue Bryant. Hi, Prue.
Hi, Brad.
Prue runs the rental department of Brad Teal Real Estate, which is a mega part of our business. So she's got a really responsible job and fantastic staff. We're going to talk a bit about property management and a little bit, not as much today as normal, about the real estate property sales market and the growth trends, and CoreLogic provides us with all of those facts and figures. We'll get to that later. But mainly about property management, and there are a couple of hot topics. One, animals in rental properties, but one of the features of the August letting month was 120, is that right?
121.
121. We won't underquote the amount. 121 lettings in the month of August, which is nearly 20% higher than normal. And that is a significant number. And I want to talk about that. So Prue, what is it that makes us drive lower vacancies for landlords, gets properties let? Talk about what we do to help landlords minimise their vacancy factor.
Okay. Well, to be honest, Brad, to achieve 121 rental lettings in August, which is like a winter month, generally quite slower, not as many people move in and out of rental properties in the winter months, was astronomical, and I was really surprised. The actual vacancy rate across Melbourne is sitting at just around 2.6%. Within Brad Teal Real Estate, our vacancy rate is at 1.8%, which is substantially lower than the industry. The reason for that is, I think, because we as property managers now need to be more and more proactive with our rental properties. So property managers need to do things like make sure that they're available to take people through the vacant properties, and not just having open houses. We make sure that we make ourselves available. We do private inspections, and we make sure that all of our properties have got for lease boards on them. That's imperative that they have the for lease boards, and I think that you don't ever see a property that's being sold that doesn't have a for sale board. So I think that making sure that all of our properties have for lease boards is really, really important. We also encourage our landlords to make sure that we have professional photos, because I think that professional photos stand out from every other property. There is a lot of rental properties around, so we make sure that our clients and their rental properties stand out from the pack.
On the radio, driving in here today, TV last night, and in the papers over the weekend was the issue of pets in rental properties, and that VCAT has given approval for pets to now be allowed into properties, and RSPCA are preparing a case, probably to argue, I suspect, against it, but time will tell what their argument is. What's your opinion?
It is a tough one, and I do think that it probably does need to be regulated to a certain extent. I mean, more and more people have got pets, and I know that, you know, I myself have a dog. You've got a dog. I think that we do have a pet. It's part of our families in Australia, and I think that as landlords, if they're allowing pets to be in rental properties, they are possibly giving themselves more of an opportunity to have more of a choice. I just think that people that have pets need to present themselves in a manner that possibly comes with, when they're applying for a property, they could have references, they could do more to actually try and get the rental property, rather than have landlords just say flat out no.
The review of the Residential Tenancy Act, what's your opinion on that?
Probably the thing that sticks out to me the most is the consideration to having long leases, and at the moment the Residential Tenancies Act, well, first of all, it was reviewed nearly 20 years ago, so that is a long time ago, and I think that it is important that it is reviewed on a regular basis, and that's purely to protect both the landlords and the tenants, and obviously also real estate agencies to a certain extent. But in saying that, at the moment the Residential Tenancies Act only covers leases up to 5 years. They're looking at having leases to 10 years. Now, I personally, I don't think that we would ever, I've never done a 5-year lease. I actually, to be honest, don't really even encourage 2-year leases. Majority of leases are 12 months, and I think that that's really important, because everybody's circumstances can change, and tenants can get out of leases, they can break leases, obviously at a cost, but it's very difficult for a landlord to cancel a lease. They would have to go to VCAT. So I think if a landlord was to do a 10-year lease, which is what they're considering, it would be crazy. It's a
long time.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a summary. Strong letting month. Well done to you and your crew. Really, really good. And thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Good. Now we move into real estate property sales, and CoreLogic has provided us with facts and figures to say that 6 out of the 8 capital cities rose by 1.1%. and that Melbourne rose by 1.4% in August. A really good result once again. The main thing is that the growth in the capital gains in property has been in excess of things like inflation, the income growth, rental growth. So property gain has been a number one attribute of holding property over the last number of years. Auction clearance rates at 79% last weekend, which is, I think, totally predicated on low stock levels. And when we rise to higher stock levels, I think it might just come back a little bit. But still, a good number of depth of bidders, 3-4 bidders at a couple of auctions. We had one auction in Ogilvy Street, which had a reserve at $860 or $880 approximately. First bid put it onto the marketplace, and it went to over $1.1 million with about 5 people vying for that particular property. Now, the drivers of this such competitive bidding are low stock levels. Really well renovated homes are getting a substantial premium, and residential boundaries for schools. People are really looking at the quality of schools, primary schools, Aberfeldy Primary School in the case of Ogilvy Street, up to St Bernard's, Arve, Our Lady are all close by. Strong social and sporting clubs as well. So that's a bit of a summary for you. The property market continues to look forward to the springtime coming up, only a couple of days old into spring, but we hope you've been well informed by our little discussion here today and look forward to our October snapshot in a few weeks' time. Thank you.